politics will always be a touchy subject for a lot of people. I mean, just because it's just naturally, I think, just whenever you hear politics, you just could feel the emotions rise a little bit in any room, really. Even if you're in with like-minded people, it can still kind of raise everybody's emotional state, if you will. Especially here in the U.S., because that's where I live. In the past couple decades, it's just become more and more of a concern with where the country's headed, just because we've seen the just economic catastrophe that is our government and everything else. The national debt is just skyrocketing. It's like it's not slowing down. We just keep spending money we don't have. But anyway, I don't want to really talk on any of that anymore. I just wanted to talk on. There was an interview that was done about a month ago, I believe, or a couple months ago. So kind of late to the party. But I just, as somebody who would lean more conservative, I suppose, and most of my political beliefs and where I would like to see the country headed, you have interviews like this where I respect the honesty that she gives, but it's just not a very it's not a very healthy mindset for her to have, because it just excludes so many people from being able to perform, if you will, at the highest level that we need them to in order to better grow the country. And this was an interview that was done on Vivek's podcast, I believe. It says Ann Coulter tells Vivek Ramsawamy, I always love that last name, she would never vote for him because he's Indian. And it says she has a history of openly racist remarks. And it's like, that's already not a green flag. We can just put it that way. It says a failed 2024 Republican primary candidate Vivek Ramsawamy praised Ann Coulter for having the guts to make racist remarks directly to his face on his podcast this week. Well, it wasn't directly. I mean, it was through a screen, but yeah. It says Miss Coulter, a conservative firebrand with a history of openly racist remarks, appeared on a businessman's podcast, Truth, on Wednesday for an episode titled The N-Word Nationalism. Mr. Ramsawamy welcomed Miss Coulter by telling her that he is a fan. She replied that he is bright and articulate, and notes that she wouldn't be allowed to say that to him if he was an American black. And here we are. It's like already like just starting strong with this woman. And it's like, what in the world is going through her head to think that you're not allowed to give compliments to people if they're not white? Like, this is just really, really just a vile way. I mean, really no other way to put it, of thinking. To me, it's to be just that open with it and just be like, yeah, I just, as long as you're non-white, you just don't exist. It's like, what? That it's just it's just the wrong way to approach literally anything, because there's so many bright people out. There's a lot of bright people out there that aren't white. They're a lot smarter than a lot of the white people here in America. Just saying. So again, it really has nothing to do with the color of the skin or anything like that. It has to do with their integrity and their character. That was, oh my word, I forgot his name for a second. Martin Luther King. My apologies. I don't know why I just had a brain fart there. That was the whole point. It was the value or the integrity of their character, not the color of their skin. And it's 100%. I mean, I love people from all walks, all races, and everything, because I realize that every person holds value inherently. I mean, that's also because I'm a Christian and I just believe everybody has inherent value given by God. And so that's why when people say things like this and they say they're conservative, it's just like, it just does not sit well with me at all. It's just a very, very toxic way to approach life. And because you have to realize that there's just a lot of smarter people out there that aren't white, and you just have to deal with it. Sure, there's a lot of smart white people out there, but there's also a lot of smart blacks, a lot of smart Asians. Like, why, and not even just smart for the sake of being smart, but also just super charismatic, very, very willing to help other people. And that's kind of what we need in somebody who needs to lead the country, and especially, well, somebody who's also firm too, because we've seen, well, we have Joe Biden in right now, and you can see what happens when somebody isn't firm or isn't even there. But anyway, so when she makes open remarks like this, you just can't help but wonder like what happened in your life that caused you to think this way. She goes on to say that even though she agreed with him more than most other GOP primary candidates, she would not have voted for him to be president because he is Indian. She said, I agreed with many, many things you said during your campaign. In fact, probably more than most other candidates when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you because you're an Indian. She then claimed that the core national identity in the U.S. is a WASP, WASP, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And that is like where, no, just no. Where are you getting that from? She like throwing back to the Pilgrims or something. I just don't know. It's like America hasn't been that in a long, long time. It just doesn't make any sense to me. That I'm not sure where she's pulling that from. I mean we. I mean, let's be honest. We had a civil war over statements like that. I mean, it wasn't that exact statement, but that was people who held that and everybody else didn't exist type thing, and that's why we had the Civil War. I mean, that's basically what happened, let's be honest. And so when you have people like this, it's just so. To give her a platform is just. It's. I don't want to say it's. Well, it is kind of sad that there's people that would think like this, but also that other people would kind of back her on that as well, because I'm sure there's definitely other people who think that way, and I would just encourage people who think that way to reconsider that there's just a lot of worth that a lot of other people of nationalities that they carry with them, if you will, and a lot of them aren't white, and that's okay. It blows me away that somebody would actually go on the air and say things like this. It's like you just can't expect it to be that way. If Vivek was the best candidate and he was running, I would vote for him. If there was a black guy who was the best candidate, I would vote for him because it has nothing to do with how they came out of their mother's womb, the skin color they came out with. It has everything to do with their worldview and how they are trying to help the country. And that's what all this should be about. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about comments like this on the internet, because I just don't think it's not very constructive or helpful for anybody when you make comments like this, because it just kind of shows that you're super biased based on race, which is racism, really. But anyway, if you guys liked the video, make sure to leave a like, and I hope to see you guys around. Peace.